Oh, hello. We're back again. How are you, folks? Welcome to the Josh Potter Show. 'Tis I, Josh Potter, with you another Wednesday. And we're getting ready to go to San Francisco. It's October 26th, Cobb's Comedy Club, one night. Get your tickets. It's a big old room. So get those tickets. Come on out. One night only. It's coming up here the 26th, Cobb's Comedy Club. Then one night in Seattle, October 29th. That's next. Yet the Hereafter, Chase O'Donnell's coming with me, so that'll be a good time. In November, Buffalo, New York, my hometown. I'll be back there for Thanksgiving Eve at Helium Comedy Club, November 22nd. And November 29th, Brea Improv, right back here in Southern California. All those tickets and more can be found up on my link tree on my Instagram at Josh_Potter. On Instagram at J_Potter on Twitter. Follow along with the Patreon, patreon.com/The Josh Potter Show, twitch.tv/Josh_Potter. All those things, go get them and check out the merch. joshpottermerch.com. I didn't wear it today. I like how you guys put that in there last time. Put it in again, right there. I'm pointing to me. I don't know if I am or not. He might be on this side. He might be on this side. joshpottermerch.com. Go check it out. Get a shirt. The first batch should be getting to people as we speak. Aside from that, we have a very wonderful guest here today. I'm excited. From all the way across the country, New York City. It's Mike Feeney, baby.
Hey, thanks for having me. I knew you were actually excited about it because you clasped your hands together.
I did.
That
I was like,
fun.
Ooh, boy,
it was a giddy.
Mike Feeney's here.
Can I ask you a question? Is this music that's playing? Is this your theme song, or this is just a bed of music for the intro plus?
Well, the fine people who listen to this program, all the roaches out there, they send in either articles or musical numbers to joshpottershow@gmail.com. You can send yours in, and this is one of Griff Parker's many musical numbers that he sends.
So you know the person that made this?
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
Well, it's one of the roaches out there. Griff Parker sends in musical numbers all the time, so we run through them here.
Cool. Yeah, it's a good beat. It reminds me of like a royalty-free beat, which I feel like sounds like an insult, but it's not. You know what I mean? It just sounds like one of those things.
Yeah, no, for sure. Griff Parker pumps them out too. So it's like
out.
Every week we try to have a new one, or we go back to playing one of our faves from a couple of weeks prior. But yeah, it's I'd love for more. I was just talking about that with somebody. I'd love more people to get as many to me as the prolific Griff Parker, but
good old Griff.
Some people, they send them in and then you don't hear from them for a couple of weeks. But it's a fun little thing. I'm happy when people do it. So I'm excited for your special coming out. It's going to be on Friday.
Yes, this Friday, October 27th. It's called Mike Feeney, A Night at the Comedy Cellar. And it's I think it's pretty unique for a special. I wanted to do something different, so I decided to do all 4 rooms of the Comedy Cellar in New York City in one night, bounce around, and then combined all of that, made it. And I also decided that wasn't enough, so we have to separate ourselves, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got to do. So I decided to direct it and edit my own special.
Wow.
While I had at the time a 10-week-old child. So
Jesus.
Really just trying to burn the candle at every end. I just basically took a candle and threw it into fire is basically what it was.
Did you plan all this before you had the child and the child came and that was just like a combo situation? Or did you already forecast it?
I had the idea like last April of shooting it. I came up with the concept of it, and then I was going to shoot it in October, and then my kid also ended up coming 2 weeks early in October, so I pushed it to January, and then I shot it at the end, like pretty much the end of January, and then basically had to edit it and all that other stuff. So it's like, if you think comedians watching our own stuff is, as you know, one of the worst things imaginable.
Some people won't even do it, so editing it yourself has got to be...
Yeah, it's a nightmare. But I made it a nice, quick, palatable. It's 20 minutes. It's just a nice, quick 20 minutes.
Like, 5-7 minutes in one spot, and then you...
Yeah, but the original idea was to make it like 5, 5, 5, 5, that kind of a thing. But just by the nature of how those rooms are, so like you have like the original room, which is that like basement magic, from like that 70s era, just feels like that energy, which it's very small and intimate. You got the Village Underground, which seats 250 people, so it's kind of like it plays bigger. And then you have the Fat Black Pussycat Lounge, which is more like, experimental kind of a room. People do new stuff a lot of there. There's a different vibe to it. It feels very like, here's a little secret, I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. And then you have the bar, which like quite literally could feel like a bar show. But what's crazy is it's all owned by the Comedy Cellar, all within one block of one another, and it's all the same like lineup. So it's like all the same caliber of comedians, but it requires you to like flex and work different muscles in each room, because you can't just do the same set in all 4 rooms and it will go. You know what I mean? You kind of got to be adaptable to it.
Sure.
Kind of like in the Comedy Store, where it's like you can't just do your big main room set in like the belly room, because people are like, what are you doing? You have to adapt to it. So it's that's kind of was the thought process behind it. And then I pitched the idea when I came up with it to like multiple production companies, and they all said no. But they
did you shoot it all in one night?
So we did it back-to-back nights, which ended up being 7 sets, because one of the showrooms didn't have. So when I pitched this to production companies, everybody was like, it can't be done. It's impossible to shoot it in one night. You'll have to like shoot it over like a week and fake it. People said They said it won't match any of the lighting, because all the rooms are shot totally lit totally different. And then one company said that it would cost well over $100,000 to make, God. Which so it's just one of those things where like they didn't see like the vision. I just had like this clear vision for it, so I'm like, I'm gonna do it. So I got this essentially like a little dream team of I had like my DP was James Webb, who's awesome. He shot like Mark Norman and Sam Morrill's stand-up specials, along with a bunch of others. And I got Toby McMullen from Are You Garbage, just to be one of my camera operators, and Nicole
T-Bone.
Lyons, who was my podcast producer, who's also directed a comedy special before. So I basically just had all my friends, and we didn't add. And this was, again, I'm not like headlining each of these rooms. This is me doing a showcase set. So this is. All of the audience has no idea who I am, which adds another layer to it, because I wanted it to feel as like authentic as like if you were an audience member going into a show, I have to like win them over, just like we would normally have to do on a regular showcase show. And then also, as I wanted to kind of show from the comedian's perspective what it feels like to go into all these 4 rooms. So it's just the cool thing about it was like we had. Or the difficult thing also about it is we couldn't add any lights.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't add any sort of like, we couldn't take out a ton of seats. So we basically just set up. I mean, we took out 1 seat, I think, for the 3 people in each room, and just kind of like sat up there and did like a run and gun guerrilla style around the thing. And the second I was done with 1 set, broke everything down, ran to the next room. They all sat up. So it was James Webb has said it's like was easily the most difficult special he's ever shot in his life, but he also was like the only person when I talked to him about it where I'm like, I think I'm just gonna do this myself. He was like, fuck yes, dude. He's like, I love that. He's like, that's gonna be a nightmare. I want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you just need people who have like, when you want to take a big swing that are like, instead of being like, yeah, I guess we can do it, but it might be. He's just like, fuck it, let's do it. And
that's
so, great. Yeah, and so that was that, and then.
You got to plan it around having a baby, so you're like, sorry, wife.
Yeah.
I'm going to be in the editing bay.
Dude, for me, when I watch it, I just see, like, the deep purple bags under my eyes of, like, no sleep, because, again, 10 weeks old, they're just a little blanket of meat at that point.
Sure.
So it just was a nightmare. But it was, it was like a labor of love, and I do feel like I've always wanted to direct, like, some specials. I'd love to eventually, like, direct other friends and stuff like that, but editing it was such a thing where I go, at this point, I know how to edit. I can see, again, the vision for what I want, so I might as well just do it. I will never edit a special again.
Especially your own.
Especially my own. Specifically my own. But it just was a thing where I'm like, I like the idea of doing that because there's so few. I can only think of like Louis C.K. and like Bo Burnham are the only 2 people like in comics I can think of that have like directed and edited their own specials. So I do feel like, that puts me on their level. I am now as famous as both of them and as successful. You heard it here first.
Well, I can't wait for it to come out on Friday and check it all out. See
please. It's
your hard work on the YouTube.
Yeah, on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Mike Feeney.
What's going on? Oh, I'm sorry. I stepped on the...
It's okay. youtube.com/Mike Feeney comedy.
youtube.com/Mike Feeney comedy.
Not .org. A lot of people have been typing youtube.org these days, and it's leading you somewhere else.
It will not take you to the right spot.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on with the podcast? I hear it's breaking up.
Yes, we have released our. It's so funny. We released our final episode. Is that because
Mike Cannon's going to Chris DiStefano's?
Yes. Well, actually, the reason it was breaking up was for a different opportunity. So about 6 months ago, I mean, this is truly like in like March. Mike got an opportunity to work for Barstool.
Oh,
so
wow.
he was going to work for Barstool and basically they were starting this whole comedy division where he was going to be this content creator and blah blah blah, do all these shows on there. But the caveat was he couldn't do anything else outside of it. It was kind of like an exclusive contract. So any pre-existing podcast, any other projects that he had to do had to stop. Which were like, dude, go get your bag. You know what I mean? So it was fine. But the negotiations were dragging on for like literally 6 months, and just all the lawyers and back and forth and all this other stuff. And they were on, I mean, quite literally the last like sentence of the contract in terms of like going through the disputes. And then Dave Portnoy bought back the company.
Oh, right.
For $1 and decided to just get rid of all of the ideas of the comedy division. So that just scrapped. So basically we had, the three of us and our producer, we had all kind of already mourned the ending of the podcast. We had processed it. We had grieved. We had already moved on in our heads. We had all talked to, like, considered the other projects we're going to do forward. And then, overnight they were like, well, you can actually keep doing the podcast. And we were all like, but it's over. You know what I mean? Like, in our minds, it was over. So it was funny because we announced, we're like, we still have fun doing it. So we're like, we'll announce that we're ending it, and then we'll just kind of run it through Skankfest. We'll do one afterwards and kind of call that. But since we announced it, I think 4 weeks ago, that these are going to be like the last few episodes, I mean, every episode has gotten more downloads, more views, more comments, more interactions than ever before. All of Skankfest, people were like, you can't stop the podcast. Comics that have done the show have been giving us... Joe DeRosa gave me a 30-minute impassioned plea about why you can't stop the show. You guys are idiots. You're fools. So it is so funny now, because now we're just almost saying like a thing of like, this is it for now. Because here's the thing, like, we're all still gonna like work together in some capacity, and that's kind of that's like the one good thing about this. I think ending is the fact that like we're ending. Every podcast that ends when it's like Friends always ends terribly. You know what I mean? From Opie and Anthony all the way throughout. It just
it's a story of radio, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It just always ends bad, and we're all like still like we're literally like best friends. So it feels like a great thing to be like, we didn't end being like, bickering and bitching at each other and stuff. So who knows? Maybe there is like an opportunity to like bring it back in some capacity in like another form.
So funny that you said that you announced that it was ending, and then all of a sudden it's like we got more views, we got more engagement. That's why I'm here to announce this show is wrapping up.
I would highly recommend saying you're ending this show. I'm going to start a podcast called The Show Is Ending. And then that's going to be, it's going to be number 1 on iTunes. Dude, you can't, I truly, what's insane? I looked at like the YouTube, because we put out the episode yesterday. I looked at like the YouTube analytics, and they even said it was like, this is getting like 10 times more views than your average episode. And they go, which is causing, us to push it out more. So there, even YouTube's being like, and we had people commenting.
That's what they say, yeah. It's really kind of annoying, because then on the inverse of that, they'll shit on you, YouTube. YouTube will tell you in the thing, they go, this one's not doing great.
So we're suppressing it.
Yeah.
But it's like, we've had people in the comments today be like, I've been subscribed to your channel for like years, and we... like, only the last few episodes have been coming up on my feed.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing. People tell me all the time, they're like, I subscribe, I hit the thing, and I never see it, and I have to go look for it. I don't know what that is, folks. I don't either. So go find it.
I think you can turn on notifications now when someone posts
Who
or
the
something,
fuck
but
knows?
I don't know,
I feel like they're just always trying to fuck me.
Yeah.
And we're out of the nice boy clock, so I can say it. YouTube's just trying to fuck me 6 ways to Wednesday. It's fucking awful.
It's not great. But yeah, so to all of that, we might end up doing something together, and
now your reunions will be...
Yeah, and it's
more
like,
be like, we're getting back together for a night.
It's like an open-ended thing. Like we're cool. Not. It's not. The book isn't necessarily closed on. It's just kind of like we're taking a permanent vacation. But Cannon also is going to. He's now becoming the co-host of DeStefano's Chrissy Chaos podcast. So. If you like him, go listen to that.
Now, I know Mike plays...
his podcast.
Yeah, I know he's been playing basketball. Did you play basketball?
I always played basketball. I never played like in college. Like
you strike me as a baseball player.
I was a baseball, and then track and field.
I knew it.
But
track and field.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I did baseball, and then in high school I also did track and field. So I did like everything from like relay races and then hurdles and high jump and all that stuff. But then when I went to college, they didn't have a track and field team, and the baseball team was I wasn't playing like at a competitive enough level to play in college. And then when they So all I did during college was I just did 5-on-5 full court basketball every pickup games. We would play.
Oh, I see.
We would play 5 days a week for 3 hours or something, and then I also did crew in college, which was only a product of the crew team.
What college is this?
Iona College in New Rochelle. Great basketball team.
Which college you own?
What?
Get it? Iona College. Hey, this guy.
That is fun. You know what's insane, dude? I've literally never heard that or put that together or even had that like that's such a. It's insane that since 2005 that has never.
Said it. You know what? I did another one of those
such.
the other day. Someone was like, I was in a fraternity called A Pi, and I was like. There had to have been razzes against that fraternity, right?
Or like raspberries.
All the girls love all the fat girls love A Pie.
Yes.
That's what I would have shat on your fraternity. But he was like, no one's ever said that. I go, I would have crushed it over at your college, I guess, whatever the hell.
But baseball is in terms of a fan of the sport,
yes.
Baseball is far and away my number one. Problem is Knicks weren't good since pretty much Patrick Ewing,
right.
so I kind of I'm very follow just specific teams, and then but baseball it's I follow baseball.
And you're straight New York through and through.
Giants, Yankees, Knicks, Rangers.
Oh, that's the New York. That's not even Jets, Mets.
Well, it's crazy because I come from Long Island, so sometimes people will be like, why the hell aren't you Islanders and Mets and all that other stuff?
Yeah.
But because I always think.
Isn't it weird how it's really right down the middle? It's Islanders, Jets, Mets, Rangers, Giants,
Knicks. Yeah.
Yankees.
But it's it's one of those things where I go, thank God, first off, because my childhood, I was blessed with just some of the greatest sports history.
Sure.
I mean, those 90s Yankees teams into the late 90s were unbelievable. But the reason is I think you are a sports fan of whatever your dad was a sports fan of. That's 99% of the time how it goes, unless you
hate your dad and you rebel against him. And
there's that.
You do the old Patton Oswalt where you paint your face the other color.
Yeah, I guess so. But my dad and I, it's pretty cool.
He likes his dad, this guy.
Yeah.
That's good.
I know. It's really anti-stand-up comedy to
no,
have a good
I like my
relationship
dad.
with your dad.
I should.
My parents are divorced, if that helps,
Ooh,
yeah.
we likey. Let's get into some sports talk here for a second.
Beep, 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 beep. Beep 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 beep.
How have you never played a baseball player in a movie?
Boy, first off, that just kept going, huh?
That's a long one.
That was 2 more verses than I anticipated.
We just got to catch our breath once in a while.
Yeah. I could have gone to the bathroom. I think.
That's what it's for.
But wait, I was gonna say though on the parent thing. So specifically, why I became a Yankee and other fan is because when my dad was born, there was no Mets, there was no Islanders, there was no Jets.
Oh, I see.
So those were the teams, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's how I became that. But again, thank God. What did you just ask me?
No, I was saying I can't believe you haven't played an old timey baseball player in a movie.
I would love to do that. Hollywood,
doesn't this guy just look like he played baseball in the 30s or something?
Come on now, one more around the horn. Huh?
Yeah.
Kind of a
Mike
thing?
Feeney's here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing second base today.
Wow, that's a great old-timey announcer.
Oh, I can do them all.
Yeah.
But no, I just thought either that or you're a guy that whenever I see you, I'm like, especially because every time I see you lately, it's been when I'm on acid.
Yeah.
And Mike Feeney just always looks like a guy going to World War II in a train. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, it's hilarious that you're in a train.
You're getting on the train, and I'm like, bye, Mike.
Oh, going to. I thought you meant going to the chambers.
No.
You look like you're being thrown onto a train.
No,
in
if
World
you were
War
on
II.
that train, you'd be operating.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's so funny that you're saying that, dude, because for the first, I am 23 and a half years late to this, but I am just now watching Band of Brothers. And
you would have been ace in that.
Well, I am, first off, fantastic show. I don't know if you guys have heard, but it is, they've been waiting for my seal of approval. I'm giving it. And I was watching it last night because I watched it pretty much the whole flight here, and then I watched it again till midnight last night. And dude, Jimmy Fallon just he has a cameo. He just literally just drives up, and I was like, is that Jimmy Fallon?
Oh,
and he's like, I got the reserves. Whoa, whoa. And it's like, it's such a funny, like, they just basically were like, we need every straight white guy with a baby face on
hair.
camera now. And I'm like, God damn it, why wasn't I old enough to be
I know
on
that's
that
what
show?
sucks is you were too young at the time, and they're not doing any more Band of Brother action anymore. Not
Well,
even
they
in
did like the
Pacific.
Pacific, right?
That one
or something
sucked.
like
I was
that?
in
I didn't see it.
not rehab for real, but like court ordered back in the day when I got my DWI. I had to, so I couldn't smoke weed. I couldn't do anything for like 3 months. And I was really white knuckling the weed part. And I watched the Pacific one. That was my drugs. I binge watched it. I remember when it was over. I was like, what do I do now? And I didn't even really like it that much.
I'm on like the 6th episode. Dude, I just watched the episode. The last episode I watched last night is the one where I'm sure you're not gonna remember this because it was so many years ago. But like the medic episode, like they just follow the medic guy around who's got
right,
like
where
the
he's like
half Cajun guy, and he's just like. It just every time he gets any rest, someone screams medic, and that whole thing. I love that they started doing that. They started following different characters in each episode.
Yes.
Man.
But no, so I mean, next time they make a World War II movie, if they don't fucking call you,
yeah, that's pretty
silly.
much
'Cause you
the
could
only
be a medic.
roles I'm able to do anymore in Hollywood. That
You think so?
they're like a straight white guy, clean shaven can get into. It has to be a
period piece.
A period piece, yeah. Anything before 1950, or even like 19. This is what I'm trying. This is me showing maybe I can play a 70s.
like
a
or
70s guy.
Like you said, the 50s, you could be like the dad with the car. Now you got the cool car.
Yeah.
You got the like long convertible.
Yeah,
the big thing.
yeah. The way to those were like buses back then.
Oh, yeah.
It was unbelievable.
There were boats. You're driving around a boat.
Yeah.
But so I think all those kinds of things for sure. It would be nice to have a baseball movie where it was like you and like you're like, oh, Smitty here is me and him are gonna throw the whole ball around, and then all of a sudden like a black guy shows up and you just get demolished.
We just lose instantly by 30 runs.
Well, I have here what we were doing today because I'm just getting the stack so fucking full. So I thought we'd go through some old Roach reportings and clear out this stack a little bit because there's some gold in here, but I just can't get to it all every time, you know?
Sure.
So we already...
I mean, that is a filing cabinet of papers
It
you
is
have.
my
If we
papers.
do all of this in one episode...
There's no chance.
Okay.
I've peeled
Thank
out a
God.
couple of them before you got here,
Okay.
but in terms of sports, I do have one that's kind of recent. It involves Pacman Jones. Are you familiar with Pacman Jones?
Tertiary, yes, in the Vegas sense.
In the I thought you
Vegas.
said in the Vegas sense.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, you bet on some Pac-Man Jones bets, did you? Well, he used to play for the Cincinnati Bengals, used to play for the Titans, and he was a bit of a troublemaker back in the day.
Is that a
but since
character
then,
for an
he's
NFL player?
yeah. Since then, though, he's kind of cleaned it up a little bit. But every now and then, the old Pac-Man comes out, and he's since retired. But now this comes to us by way of Max Mashenko. Adam Pac-Man Jones is no longer allowed to fly out of the CVG airport. Which one's CVG for the record? Can we figure that one out?
Another thing I
Do you
hate
know that
more
one?
than when I don't
they
know
have a
airport
shitty-
codes, and I hate when they're this Cincinnati, but like I hate when they're not related to anything. Like sometimes you say like CVG and it's like St. Martin Airport, and you're like, why those letters aren't even
Yes.
close?
Well, like, I mean, O'Hare is ORD, and that one fucks me up a lot because I'm like, am I going to Orlando?
Get that D
in the
out of
layover?
there.
Yeah. It seems like Orlando, or the Atlanta one's something weird too because it's like Hatford something or other. It's like HAT. They are dumb, for the record. But yes, this man is no longer allowed to fly out of Cincinnati's airport, which is going to be tough because he lives in Cincinnati. That would be tough to get. That's now it's like I got to move to fly. I guess. On the morning of September 11th, not a good day to fuck around at an airport.
No.
I mean, it's just people, and that's what I always find funny. People are like, "I'm flying on September 11th. I'm nervous." I'm like, "Well, it's not going to happen on September 11th again."
Yeah, they're not hacks.
Yeah. And they know that there's going to be, like, for whatever reason, the most alert day. People, because there are hack losers out there that will do, like, really shitty versions of terrorism. You know what I mean? Just to annoy
Like
people.
spray paint, you know?
Yeah.
Just
Something where they just
spray
like
paint the plane. You're like,
well,
come
no,
on.
they just cause a ruckus and they make your plane delayed. You know, those types of people.
Sure.
Those types of terrorists. So he's fucking around on September 11th. Airport police were called to assist a flight crew with an unruly passenger. said Mindy Kirshner, a spokesperson for the airport. Jones was booked for alcohol intoxication, terroristic threatening, and disorderly conduct, according to Captain Kevin Clute with the Boone County Jail. I thought that was going to be the captain of the airplane. He appeared in court Thursday morning with his attorney. At this point, Pacman Jones cannot go through CVG. It's a huge hub for all of us in Cincinnati. Well, yeah, it's the only airport there. The inability to travel to that airport is really difficult situation, according to his attorney. That's something that we intend to address with the court in our next hearing. I want to find out what the fuck he said.
I was just going to say, I want to know the quote of the terroristic threat. I mean, it might be, because sometimes on planes, people are like a little overly sensitive.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like the Meet the Parent where he's like, it's not like I have a bomb, and then they're like, you can't say bomb.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's that whole thing of like, he could just be like, I'll take this whole thing down. And you're like,
Yes.
wait a minute.
This orange juice is the bomb,
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like that. And then they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Hey now.
Well, now, Pat McAfee has Pac-Man on his show these days.
Mm-hmm.
So he works on the Pat McAfee show and does other things. So now he can't go to do the Pat McAfee show without flying out of CVG because it's in Indianapolis.
Right.
So he's going to have to do it on Skype or what have you. I thought he was going to say that he mentioned it on the Pat McAfee show. Let's see what it says here. He feels like he had done nothing wrong in the airplane and was asked to leave the airplane really for no valid reason. We'll just continue to work through the evidence. There is a video. Do we have? Can we find that real quick? Because I think that'll clear up some things.
I listen, there's no one who is more into drinking before a flight than I am. Do you do it to sleep, or do you do it to like get through the flight better? I do it because I have to. I don't know. It's just I do it as I'm a lounge guy, and I think more than anything, I want to take advantage of the free drinks at an airport lounge, at like the Sky Lounge or the Centurion Lounge. So when I'm in there, I'm like, I don't even want. Yesterday when I flew out here, it was 8 a.m. on a Wednesday. And I went up to the bar to get ice for my to make an iced coffee, and I ordered ice, and then I blacked out, and I woke up and I had a mimosa in my hand. So I'm gonna drink. If I'm going to fly, I'm gonna drink.
Isn't it funny, people that don't fly very often? I had a girl that she was telling me, she's like, I hope they have an open bar. I go, it's an airport. There will be a bar open at 8 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
9 a.m.
I just am one of those people, too, where I'm like, that's the other reason that this blows my mind is like I've been blacked out or close to like blacked out on planes before. And I've never, like, I if anything, it makes me like almost sleepy. You know what I mean?
Course,
like
same here.
You're contained into your thing. You got your TV. I might be like watching the TV going, whoa, or something like that, but I'm not,
You're not unruly. And I've never had it either where, and I take the course of, I love to have a beer and shit, but I will mostly go on a plane and try to make myself comatose through other means.
Edibles?
Xanax,
Oh,
edibles,
yeah.
that kind of things. Advil PM, anything like that.
Yeah, if I have to fly to like Europe,
Yeah.
and it's like I need to sleep because when I get there, it's like the morning, and
Yes.
I have to, and I can't.
Like tonight, I'm doing a red eye. I need to sleep, so I'm going to drug myself to no end. But I've never had it where they go, that guy's too fucked up to fly. Like, I can't imagine displaying characteristics where they tell me I'm too fucked up to fly.
It's got to just be like belligerent and like loud. You know, it has to be like this. And then when someone tells you to be quiet, you get louder.
Evidently, this argument started over a faulty charger port. Now, that's a tale as old as time on an airplane.
There we go.
I was like, hey, excuse me, sir, can you move me to another fucking seat? Well, you don't say it. You can't say fucking seat. You should say, excuse me, sir, can you move me to another seat, not another fucking seat, because I bought both of these seats and the plug doesn't work, said Jones. According to Jones, that's when the flight attendant told him that if he wanted to change seats, the plane would have to go back to the gate. Since I wanted to go all the way back to the gate because my plug didn't work, I got arrested. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by DoorDash. You don't want to cheer for your favorite team on an empty stomach, do you? DoorDash has got you covered. I know that I use them quite a bit during Sunday football because I don't want to move. It's red zone, 7 hours of commercial-free football. I'm not taking one break. I barely go to the bathroom, let alone go cook food or go out to get some. So I want DoorDash bringing it to me. With all your favorite restaurants, grocery stores, and retail stores on the app, you can easily shop for whatever you need. Everything gets delivered straight to your door. Like I said, during Red Zone, I need it to come I need the guy to knock on the door. I need him basically to bring it in and feed it to me. That's not an option yet on DoorDash, but I'm going to lobby for it. Snacks, some pizza, wings, burgers, maybe even a cool jersey to wear. They've got everything because it's not just restaurants. You got grocery stores. You got convenience stores. Hell, you can even get Target on DoorDash. It's unbelievable. So right now you can get all that without leaving your couch, and right now get 50% off up to $10 value when you spend $15 or more on your first order. Just download the DoorDash app and enter code JOSHBALL. That's 50% off when you spend $15 or more on your first order. Download the DoorDash app and use code JOSHBALL. That's code JOSHBALL. JOSHBALL, and you're going to get 50% off your first order when you download the DoorDash app and spend $15 or more. Subject to change, terms apply.
Why would they have to go all the way back to the gate?
It's one of those dumb plane rules. Let's see what the video tells us here.
I might be on his side.
According to an incident report, Jones was asked to settle down, but he remained argumentative, and attendants could smell a strong smell of alcohol on him.
Oh, he's not even in first class. That's crazy.
Where everyone had to deplane.
Why would I get off? Now everybody got to get off. Why would I get off so you can get off?
Why are you making everybody get off?
It was a really brief interaction, and then the flight attendant just like wasn't having it and kicked him off maybe a little preemptively. I think just his behavior throughout the beginning of the morning kind of led to that situation.
Once off the plane, Jones was taken into custody.
That's fucking nuts.
Yeah,
Interesting was when I got off the plane, the passengers that were around him on the plane, they were actually pleading with the police, saying, he did nothing wrong.
Documents state that Jones made a threat, saying, "I'm going to get you," and that's not a threat. It's a promise.
Damn.
And I'm walking my walk. I'm not kissing nobody. I'm not doing that. If I'm wrong, I'm going to tell you I'm wrong. 100%.
Now, this is a man who has physically assaulted people in airports before.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I was on his side until that "I'm going to get you" and it's not a threat, it's a promise. You're like, and now you're getting arrested. Because that is, besides that and like, "I have a bomb" is probably like two of the only things you could say to get thrown out the plane. I think him getting thrown out the plane before that was insane. I cannot believe he wasn't even in like Comfort Plus. He was like in a regular.
I know.
That was in like a regular, he was in seat 20. It just,
There are some people who fly a lot that still, for whatever reason, they do not care about the status they have. They want to save the money. I know friends that fly every week that still take Spirit, still take Frontier.
he made $22 million.
I know, but he spent a lot of it. I mean,
On lawyer
Pacman
fees,
Jones has
probably.
a lot of lawyer fees. I mean, he has done. That's why this is so crazy that he got arrested and banned from this airport. Because, like I said, I think it was in Orlando or someplace in Florida. He fought a guy randomly just in the airport, just got into a physical altercation and got like arrested there too. But I mean, he has had, through his litany of crimes, this is way down the list. And I don't even think that was a threat. Like he said, that's not a threat, it's a promise. If I'm the lawyer, I'm making that argument.
The first part of that did feel very like, it felt like there was a racial like,
yes,
if you wanted
or just
to make
like
this
it's
a race
Pac-Man
issue,
Jones. Let's make it. He's going to be argumentative.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, but yeah, if you say it's a promise,
I'm going
it's
to get you.
just,
And that man saying it is probably true. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get you.
Yeah.
Oh man, but he cursed a lot at these people. I'm glad we saw that video. Thank you so much for pulling that up. But that does it for sports. Let's get to the news. This one's much shorter.
Okay.
See?
Yeah, the last note longer than I anticipated, but still
long
much shorter.
note.
Yeah.
That's so we can chime in, We go, all right, we're here, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But well, this one was sent in from Luke Rutz. A man ate a bad fish, and he lost his limbs.
Oh no.
That's a bad fish.
That makes me think of that Simpsons episode where they like, if you eat the blowfish the wrong way, it was like, you
oh,
would
that's
die.
a true thing. I
Remember
think
that?
that's a
Yeah.
real thing.
Yeah.
If you eat, there are specific fish in Asia. If you get like a cut of it, if they cut it wrong or something like that, am I right? You guys are cultured.
That feels crazy.
Pufferfish.
Yes.
Is that like that's the poison one that like you can eat it, but only if it's like a master sushi chef or something.
Hey,
Yeah, they have
how
to
about
prepare it
just
right way.
don't eat the puffer
Yeah, I'm
fish?
gonna avoid it.
Just if there's even a chance that I die from it, I don't know why. I don't know, man. It feels like, is there a thing on this planet that humans as a species haven't eaten at least once?
I'm sure we've tried everything, just to see if it was poisonous
Every
or
animal,
not.
every like fish that we've ever been able to get, every plant, every single thing we've tried. There's somebody out there that's like, the first person's like, I want to eat a mountain lion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like every person, it's weird, man. We just
Not humans, though. There are some.
oh,
obviously.
sure, we've done that. Absolutely.
We've
yeah.
done that, but not en masse. You know what I'm saying? Like, if someone came to you and was like, "You want to try this mountain lion?" You'd be like, "All right." But if someone came to you and is like, "I've got a Pakistani guy here. You want to eat him?" And you'd be
Yeah,
like,
that wouldn't be my first choice. I do feel like a
"Of race? What race would you eat first?"
what race would I eat first? So you
Now
have
I
to,
wonder. Here's the thing:
Uh-huh.
is it racist to choose a race for? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, here's why I'm saying it. I'm not taking their beliefs into thing. I'm
Okay.
taking if they are, let's say, like where my mind went with that was like Pakistani guy eating Pakistani food a lot. So like he's gonna taste Pakistani. He's gonna taste like Pakistani food. So you're like, all right. So by that, it's like maybe if I'm eating an Italian guy, you know what I mean? It's gonna have a little. There's gonna be a lot of cheese and sauce. There's a lot of like even the way he's prepared will kind of be, you know what I mean? Like that's what I'm thinking of.
yeah,
know?
you're like, if I eat a guy from Ghana, that's gonna be like a lot of stringy meat because he's like probably running a lot. you
Yeah,
know,
it's
something
gonna
like that,
be.
like a horse.
It won't be prepared. It'll be.
I like how you're like, I don't want to base it off their belief system. I just want to go by their diet.
their culture,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
culture
yeah.
of their food, you know. I'm like, you wouldn't want to eat an American. It would just be like all greasy, fried. It would be awful.
Yeah,
you
it'd be
know?
a real fatty.
Yeah, it would be awful. I'm trying to think of like what's the closest to like veal for like a culture, like a human
Ooh,
veal.
Maybe American.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you can find.
Got to get them early.
Yeah, but we're more like the steroid pump chickens.
Yeah,
you know what
that's
I mean?
true.
Like,
the ones that are like in a coop all on top of each other,
Yeah.
shitting all over each other.
Yeah, like there's like extra legs. Like that doesn't feel. But this guy's got no legs, huh?
maybe like a Sweden guy.
Canadians.
Canadians, I don't know.
What do they even eat?
Yeah, exactly. They're kind of probably doing the same type of
Poutine?
shit that we're doing though, like mass
Maybe like
farming and
you
all
know
that.
who I bet would be delicious? I bet a French person.
Ooh,
because
I love
they're
that.
all like butter and
Yes.
cheese. They're a lot with mostly butter, and also they're all kind of.
Cigarettes.
If you go to France in Paris, like no one's overweight. They
Right.
all kind of have my body type.
Yes.
You know, they're very like sinewy. It doesn't seem like there would be a lot of muscle on that. You know?
Yes, they all like have booze and cigarettes in them too. I love that part.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happened with this guy. A San Jose mother, or girl, I should say, a San Jose mother lost her arms and legs after contracting a bacterial infection that may have come from undercooked fish. God, that is one of those shitty luck things.
Undercooked fish. I thought sushi's. I thought you could eat fish raw. Isn't that the whole?
Some of them, but not all, evidently. After consuming tilapia, which from what I understand, tilapia is like the shit fish. Where
It's
it just-
also like one of the most popular fishes in terms of like what is used and what is served.
yeah, because
at
they use it in like
restaurants.
fillet of fish, right? Like
Tilapia
McDonald's.
is like I would say in the top 3 most popular fish that used in like in fish-based meals.
Well, this woman purchased it from a local market and fell ill almost immediately. She was diagnosed with a virulent Vibrio vulnificus. I don't know. It sounds like a Harry Potter spell.
Vulnificus.
Often called the flesh-eating bacteria. So she just went and picked up a fish, and now she has a flesh-eating bacteria. This, according to the GoFundMe that was set up by her friend. I don't know what you're gonna. What are you gonna go fund me for some legs and arms? I mean, like, what are we doing?
But
here?
do you think that the flesh-eating bacteria was in the fish when it was caught from the water, or do you think maybe it was something in the transport of the fish? Somebody handled it with,
well, let's see
know.
what happens here. She almost lost her life. She was on a respirator. They had to put her back into a medically induced coma. Her
Oh, my
fingers were
God.
black. Her feet were black.
Oh,
her
my
bottom
God.
lip was black. She had complete sepsis, and her kidneys were failing. Vibrio vulnificus is commonly called the flesh-eating bacteria, as it can cause necrotizing fasciitis. I don't know. This is all according to the CDC. What do they know? It was a severe infection in which the flesh around an open wound dies. The primary treatment, I want to find out, like you said, the I don't need to know the treatment. She amputated her limbs, obviously.
1 out of 5 people with this die, it says. That's insane.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's just like, if they don't catch it soon enough, I would imagine it can get to some very vital places.
Dude, I had this is not the same as a flesh. I guess it's probably in the world of it. I just had a bacterial infection for the first time in my life. Did you ever have one of those?
A bacterial infection?
Yeah.
Where it's in your stomach or?
No, I started doing jujitsu, and I think I got it from that. But literally, it almost looks like it started looking almost like razor burn on my neck. And then I was like, oh, that's weird. Maybe I didn't change the razor blade. So then I was just putting stuff all over it and on my face, thinking it was razor burn, and just essentially spreading it all around my face and neck. And I had to after a week, it was getting crusty and hard and incredibly itchy and painful at the same time. I had one in my nose. It was spreading, and I'm like, what is happening? So I went to this dermatologist, and they were immediately yeah, you have a bacterial infection. You need to be on antibiotics. It's
wow,
highly
is that
contagious.
A staph infection too, or something? Like
yeah,
that?
I think it's kind of in the world of staph infection. Yeah, but it's probably not as severe. But they were definitely you got to be on antibiotics. It's highly contagious. And I was like, oh, okay, I've just been around everyone. That sucks. But yeah.
I had a thing last year where it was from, they said possibly an old razor, and I still have a scar here from it, but I must have been shaving and I cut myself with a old razor or something, but it caused a growth, a cyst, and I went to the emergency room because it kept getting bigger, and it was actually cutting off my air.
Oh my god.
Because I started getting to the point where I couldn't breathe. It was getting bigger and bigger over 2 days. So I went to the emergency room, and they did a MRI on it, which ended up being the most expensive. They could have just done the thing that I thought they were going to do, which is cut it open and drain it and then just whatever.
Yeah.
Address it or whatever. But they put me in an MRI, which was $30,000.
Sure.
Which is just to see. They go, oh yeah, we're going to cut that open.
Yeah.
I go, we could have just did that anyway. But yeah, they go, yeah, it's probably from shaving or something. Now I'm terrified. I don't even reuse a razor. It's after that I'm freaked out.
Yeah, I read something that they were you should switch out your razor every 6 to 8 shaves or something insanely. I was oh, I was using that razor for 3 months.
I've had this one for years.
Yeah, I don't know.
I actually like the rust on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it doesn't say if it's in the fish or if it's in the handling of the fish, so I have no idea, but evidently at least 3 people, 2 in Connecticut and 1 in New York, died after being exposed to it this summer. A man in Texas died after contracting the bacteria from eating raw oysters.
Well, that was a big thing. The oyster story, I saw that there was multiple people that have died from eating the oysters. I think they were Connecticut oysters or Long Island oysters. People were just dropping dead.
I'm big on oysters.
I love
oysters, so I could easily. But that's kind of a cool humble brag. Be yeah, I died from eating oysters all the time.
Dude,
I'm just eating so many fucking oysters. I'm such the man.
Eating oysters and some with a little glass of white wine. Boy, oh boy, that is me in my element.
Oh my lord! If I can go out to dinner and get oysters and oh my god, we're living.
There was this passage from a Movable Feast, which is the Ernest Hemingway's kind of almost essentially his journal from back in the 1920s when he was living in Paris, when it was just the greatest time ever, where it was every famous writer today was living there and all writing together and stuff. And he wrote this thing about oysters and white wine, just basically after a day of writing and just kind of rewarding yourself with it. I can't do it justice of what he said, the actual quote of it, but I remember reading that. I was in Boston. I was doing Laugh Boston or whatever, and I remember reading it. And then this is the quote here. As I ate the oysters with their strong taste of the sea and their faint metallic taste that the cold white wine washed away, leaving only the sea taste and the succulent texture, and as I drank their cold liquid from each shell and washed it down with the crisp taste of wine, I lost the empty feeling. God damn it, we gotta sign in. No, we lost the empty feeling and began to be happy and make plans. I read that and immediately went to an oyster place in Boston and
Hell
got
yeah,
oysters
dude.
the way wide. Dude,
That's
that's
awesome.
I was like, that's the greatest. That's exactly how I began to. I lost that empty feeling, began to be happy and make plans.
And this is like back in the day, so I mean, like he's not even like, who knows what kind of oysters he was getting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
dude, I don't know.
or maybe they were actually better. You know, they didn't have any pollution in the sea, that kind of thing.
I'm sure this has been like done by 8 million stand-up comics, but like the first person to find an oyster and to even figure out how to get that thing open, and then just seeing that mucus inside and being like, that's gonna be a thing.
Not only did they do that, but they went like, rich people will go to restaurants and buy this, and they will get horny afterwards. They can have this like discovery.
Oh yeah, there's something about oysters too that I'm like, I don't buy them when they're like at happy hour, like $1 oysters. That seems,
No, that's gambling.
Yes, that's give me the $3 an oyster. I'll pay. I just don't. I'm not taking a chance.
Yeah, I don't want one at the top of my Bloody Mary. Like that seems like a weird throwaway of an oyster.
Can I also say this? Take your bacon and get it the hell out of my Bloody Mary.
I don't mind when there's like stuff in there. Like, I mean, I've seen some ridiculous ones where it's like a chicken finger.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like they get crazy. I don't mind like a whole. If you do the whole toothpick of cheese with like a pickle and a pepper, I'll do that all day long. But yes, the bacon can.
I don't need it.
Fucked.
I don't want it in the liquid. I don't want wet bacon.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah, that's craziness. Well, next up, we've got another story from Luke Rutz here. It says, principal makes bad LOL meme. So, according to a Delaware teen, they're accusing the staff at her former high school of sharing a surveillance video showing her exposed breast and creating a meme about it. Wowee. This lawsuit filed by Anaya Harmon alleges the Indian River School District, Sussex Central High School, acting principal Bradley Layfield and assistant principal Matthew Jones invaded her privacy in connection to an incident that occurred in May when she was an 18-year-old senior. Well, at least she was 18. That's what they probably said. They're like, she's 18. Let's fucking make a meme about her tit.
What are you making memes for?
Board principals at high schools. What does a principal even really do? Like, outside of discipline the students and scare them, like, what is the responsibility?
That guy cannot make memes of 18-year-olds. That guy someone should have been like, dude, your head, your face, you're bald, everything about you. You should not even be around children, let alone...
Someone should have said to him, you're lucky you got a job at a school looking the way you do.
It's like, I want to investigate that.
Yeah. Who hired this fucking guy?
Yeah.
According to the lawsuit, Harmon became involved in a verbal argument between a male and a female student on the morning of May 17th. Harmon, who was passing the two, told the female student to quiet down, leading the female student to scream at and threaten her, according to the lawsuit. An attorney described the incident as a fight and alleged Harmon yelled at the male. I want to find out about this tit meme. I don't know what all this other nonsense is. What do you guys see in there?
Well, I assume the meme got taken
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think we can find the meme. Cause
I wasn't going to say we find the meme, but I just thought maybe you'd know exactly where this all... there was absolutely no racial thing other than the fact that Anaya happened to be African-American and the female involved happened to be Caucasian. So there's like a fight that evidently occurred. And apparently the principal reports that there have been countless fights where surveillance camera footage is shared with staff members to keep the school safe and protect the students from further fights. So they're going over the tapes, evidently, and they found this one with her tit, and they made a meme out of it. This was clearly shared for their perverse amusement and enjoyment, says the lawyer. These individuals had no reason to have to see the video for school safety. So they're watching a video of these two women fight. What does it say there? Read that.
Okay. Yeah, they're doing the Super Bowl Janet Jackson meme was the reference.
Oh,
they put Janet Jackson's face on her.
They put Janet Jackson's face on her.
They really should have just put her face on
Janet Jackson. That would have been the more funny meme.
Yeah.
That would have been easier to trigger it.
Yeah.
So clearly not comedians, this principal.
Damn it, he's a principal, not a comedian.
Exactly. Boy, oh boy. Well, that one was whatever, Luke Rutz. We found
what's
that
the
one.
most, like, do you have any memories of your high school principal?
I do, actually. Mr. Simmons. I actually looked up to him a lot. I was on the principal's advisory council, and then...
What the hell is that?
It was just a way to get out of class.
Advisory council? That sounds like you were a narc, dude.
Well, dude, here's the thing. It was a bunch of people who were, like, considered not leaders, but like people that they like that kids look to. So it was like me and this guy. There was this other guy, Josh Foles, who was on my soccer team, and he was like big into drugs.
Okay.
But everybody thought he was a cool guy, and he was kind of like a troublemaker.
Well, he was cool. He was on a
so
ton
they
of
would
drugs.
well they would use us then to find out like you said, information.
You
So,
were
like,
informants, dude.
I remember we were telling our principal about ketamine.
Wow.
Like at one point being like, he goes, so what's Special K? And we're like, oh, ketamine, blah blah blah. And like I remember this guy like telling about it, and I was like, why do they don't they know what this is? Like we were curious.
That's wild, dude.
But all we did was get out of class and get to go in this room, like 7 of us, and the principal just asked us like kind of about like the buzz about what's going on. Like,
dude, you were literally a CI for your.
I was like
principal.
an
That's
informant.
insane.
Yeah,
That is awesome.
and then like years later, he started cheating on his wife with a student's mother, who was a babe. Don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
it was a weird situation. And then he ended up, I think, losing his job because it got hinky.
Sure. Yeah, you're gonna lose your job for that. That's wild, dude. I did not. My high school. So I went to public school until high school, and then I got put in like a private school.
Oh, right away?
For just for high school. It was like my school district wasn't great, and my mom, like, I think in elementary school she like went to go. She was in 5th grade actually. This is when she said she made the decision that I was going to go into private school. She went. I had like forgot lunch or something, and she was going to the school to drop me off. To drop it off for me, and I was already in class, and she went up to like the window to like look inside the classroom, and it was like Lord of the Flies. There was just like there was like kids doing whatever they want. I was sitting underneath my desk just like drawing in circles or something, and the teacher literally was reading a magazine with her feet up on the desk kind of a
everyone's
thing.
running around.
Yeah, people, there's like a fire. It's just chaos. But in high school, the teacher, I think his name was like Brother Gary or something like that. He was because again, they were like, Franciscan brothers.
Friars.
They were friars. Yeah. Yes, they were. That was actually the high school mascot.
Yeah.
They were like wearing like the robes and all that stuff. And I guess I was a junior maybe. I was wearing, I had my eyebrow pierced. I was very cool. And
I had one of those in college.
Yeah. Oh yeah. College.
Yeah. I was 25, and my girlfriend at the time goes, "You need to take that out."
Yeah, I took mine out way too late, and it was only because I had to take it out for this restaurant job.
I kind of wish I still had.
I dropped it, and yeah, well now it probably would have been come back as like a cool statement piece. But so I used to have to take it out for high school every day, and I bought, remember like the clear ones you could get that you could like slide in, and I like filed it down, so it was essentially like flush. I remember being so proud, like as I put the little tab in, it's completely flush with the bottom of the eyebrow. I like covered it with the eyebrow hair. I remember looking in the mirror being like, I literally can't even see I don't even know that it's
what's the point of even having
it's unbelievable. Well, just for like school or whatever, you know what I mean?
Sure.
So like and then I got to school. The second I walk in the door, the principal's like greeting everybody. Dude, from 10 feet out, he was like, Mr. Feeney, come over here. And he's like, what's that in your eye? And I was like, how did you see this, dude? It's like literally, it's flush, and I have eyebrow covered. He was like, get it out. And then it like closed because it was like new, and then it closed. So I had to get it re-pierced, which was awful because then it's like scar tissue, and then it hurt.
I remember I took mine out, and my mom had to like, because I was like, it doesn't go through anymore, and she goes, oh, it's closed, and then she just like took a thing and was like, and re-pierced it herself. It was painful,
dude. I also have another memory from this, which I assume would now be like an illegal event. Was that principal also taught Western civilization class that I was in probably senior year or something, and he was actually like a really good teacher. Like he was pretty whatever the word is, like he was interesting, and except for one day, I guess, because I was sleeping, and I was sleeping in the class, and he came over and gave me a fucking wet willy.
Ew, that's like sexual assault nowadays.
I know, right? I could own the school. I could sue for millions.
That's right.
But he gave me a wet willy, and it was like I was so like shocked and also kind of mad, but also kind of like that's a pretty cool teacher. You know what I mean? Like it crushed. Like the whole class was like,
they loved it.
Oh, dude, of course, dude. That's when an adult does a non-adult thing. That's always funny.
Yeah, that's true. Wet willies though, yuck.
Yeah,
I would have been like, "What are you, you want to fuck me or something?"
It was
like,
awful. Yeah, it was awful. But it was one of those things where it was like,
I think this guy wanted to fuck you because you said he noticed your eyebrow ring, and he from far away. I think he's taking real good
Yeah, he's really got his eyes on me.
Really got his eyes.
But
on
I've
me,
seen.
yeah.
I guess maybe it was also because I've seen he had like a temper too. So I've seen him like go up to other kids that were sleeping and like slam the desk
sure.
and then they like go flying up. So I think this was kind of like they. All things considered, I'm like, oh, I'm glad I know. It's always weird when your teacher's also your principal because you're like, if I get in trouble, I'm in double trouble somehow.
In like 7th grade, I remember there was a teacher who definitely was in Vietnam, and he used to like
scream.
Yes, he used to like go off the handle, and there was like a kid sleeping, and he had his arm like this, and he like went by him and like knocked out his arm, so the kid like fell onto the desk.
Oh, whoa!
And then the kid like freaked out and tried to fight the teacher, and the teacher like fought him. They were like wrestling, and they were like the teacher like threw him into a desk. It was crazy.
He's just screaming Charlie,
and
as
the
he
teacher
chokes
was
the
like,
child.
the teacher was like nothing happened to the teacher. The kid went to like CCD or whatever. It's like in school suspension, IBS or whatever, and
yes.
or yeah. So I mean, like the teacher, nothing happened to him. I feel like nowadays a teacher would have gotten in trouble. The kid would still be there, like sleeping to this day or whatever.
Yeah,
He'd
you can't hit a kid.
You can't throw a kid around. And well, I guess in public school.
But that's kind of the problem now. It's not that you can't hit a kid; it's that the kids know you can't hit a kid. So there's no
threat
no
of it. Yes,
the threat of violence needs to be ever present.
Yes,
otherwise we have no leverage.
Exactly.
If
there's no violence, people get out of pocket. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what we got. One more here. Let's see.
By the way, all I want is a Bloody Mary now because that picture's been on the screen for 32 minutes.
Oh yeah, no,
I'm also starving, so I'm like, I want that burger, I want that chicken.
That's a lot. There's burgers attached to that one. That's fucking
there's a
wild.
buffalo wing on there.
That's wild. That's a little much, but I mean, also, I could go for it right now.
Yeah.
Well, this is another situation where mocking is going on. Where they're making fun of somebody. This is from Dave Reed. Ex-footballer Jermaine Defoe says he is appalled and saddened after a man admitted mocking the death of child mascot Bradley Lowry. Now, this is a wild story. This is over in England. Dale Houghton, 31, from Rotherham, appeared at Sheffield Magistrates Court earlier where he pleaded guilty to public order offense. Do you think people who, like, piss on a car and get arrested have to go to the Sheffield Magistrates Court when they have like their appearance tickets? Sounds so like
so regal.
It sounds so regal, but it's like here for public urination.
Yeah.
Like
they read off scrolls.
Yes, exactly. For exposing himself near a park, we have
4 counts of indecent exposure.
So Houghton, who was charged after a picture was shared on social media of 2 men laughing in the stands at Sheffield's Wednesday's match against Sunderland FC at Hillsborough Stadium last week. One of them, now known to be Houghton, was holding up an image of Bradley, who died of neuroblastoma, age 6 in 2017. So here's what's weird to me. They had a child mascot? That seems fucked up.
Child mascots in soccer are like kids that walk out with the players at the beginning of every game.
They call them mascots?
Yeah, they're called mascots.
Ew.
It's kind of like, is it like a Make-A-Wishy thing, or is it just like
Sometimes it's like the kids of the players. Sometimes it's like local school kids. Sometimes
okay,
I think
that's
it is
kinda cool,
Make-A-Wishy.
though. That's kind of like their version of like a Bat Boy.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. But it does seem oddly...
But say it in a British accent. Does it sound better?
No, it sounds... That makes it worse. In a British accent, it makes it even more pedophilia.
Yeah.
I'm a bit of a pedo, or whatever they say.
Yeah.
I just think it's odd that they it's like, we have our boy here, our boy that walks with me. It is strange when they walk out with the children. I thought that was like local sick children. So is that what it is on occasion?
Yeah.
It's weird that they call them mascots.
But I don't understand what's so the player...
So in this occasion, one of the mascot children evidently died from neuroblastoma. And so this person was in the stands. He was holding up an image of that child, evidently to poke fun at it. Speaking to Mail Online, former England star Defoe, who forged a close friendship with Bradley, this child, while playing for Sunderland, said the youngster was one of the most inspirational children this world has ever seen. I'm appalled and saddened by the actions of the individual in question. So he was doing this to as like a shit talk kind of thing.
So the guy in the stands was making fun, not the player. The player was
right.
It was someone in the stands being a piece of shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's like, dude, if you're printing out a poster of a kid with cancer who has just died
Like, I got him.
as like a heckle.
Yeah.
That's like someone like you want to talk about like where are the soccer hooligans when you need them? It's like that's one of those where you're like, let's just beat that guy to death. You know what I mean? Like let's
Yes.
like, everybody gets a kick, you know? Take the bobbies, whatever you got to do. We beat that person to death, and then we all come together as a society, and then we hold up a picture of him and go, this fucking dead guy. Remember that? It's a picture of him holding up the picture of the kid. Fucking asshole.
That would be perfect. That would be a perfect sentence for this guy. Yeah, that's true. I mean, like, you would think that they wouldn't, because in soccer, they are more violent. So it's like, you're really going to poke the bear like that? I mean, I wouldn't do that I wouldn't go into a Raiders game even and
yeah, dude, it's just like, it's a kid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's like the shitty, that's like the, you know.
I'll get him with this picture of a dead kid.
Yeah.
Well, everyone's like, that's fucked up, bro.
Yeah, it just feels crazy.
But evidently this guy, he got sentenced. He will be sentenced, coming up here in November. So he's actually going to like jail for this.
For what crime? Like, what's the like?
The crime of mocking the death. England's weird with
Is
shit
that like
that.
harassment or something like that? Like,
Yeah, England's like kind of strange. We had some issues with people like there was a story we had a couple of weeks ago where a little kid who had autism was calling a cop a lesbian, and they took that as hate speech and arrested the kid.
Cool. Yeah.
That's England for you.
Yeah,
What were you going to say?
No, nothing. You're good.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going to mention
Yeah, no, I'm
hand.
still in favor of beating this guy to death, I think.
No, I think that's more suitable, but it is interesting that they will file legal action. But next time you see this guy, just beat the shit out of him.
I'm legitimately surprised that guy got out of the stadium like unharmed, like
Right.
like without anybody.
Even it being his stadium. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Sure.
It being like the home, like him being on the side of the
Yeah,
other
just
supporters.
like human decency. You know what I mean? Just like a thing of like, you know.
It's amazing. Yes, it's amazing at the end of the day. Yeah. Well, Mike, 2 days from now, the special drops. I'm excited for it. Mike Feeney, A Night at the Comedy Cellar.
October 27th. So if not everybody listens to podcasts in real time, so maybe you're listening to this, it might already be out. So,
sure, that's very true.
There's myself and my Band of Brothers co-host, co-partner.
Look at that.
I did Fallon last year.
Nice.
Yeah, it'll be on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/MikeFeeneyComedy. You can go to MikeFeeneyComedy.com for shows and tickets and stuff like that. But just go watch the special, please. Watch it. Like I said, it's a labor of love, and I'd love it. If you do like it, share it. Send it in your group chats. Get it going. Tell some people about it, and I love you and thank you.
Anything else you want to promote? Future pod, perhaps, or anything?
Again, if I do, you'll see it. It's at iammikefeeney on all social media, so Instagram, TikTok, the works and stuff. But
go watch the special, folks.
Please and thank you.
And as far as I go, please come see me live. San Francisco, I'll be there October 26th, and then on the 29th, I'll be in Seattle at the Hereafter with Chase O'Donnell. Those tickets are on sale. It's coming up very quickly, so get your tickets. Also next month, Buffalo, New York, Helium Comedy Club, November 22nd, November 29th, Brea Improv here in Southern California. Those are on sale as well. And I hope you keep continuing to like, subscribe, comment, all that kind of thing. It helps with YouTube so they don't yell at me. I don't want to get a thing where it's like, this one's not doing very good. I want to hear from YouTube that it's going great. So please to be subscribing. And thank you so much for picking up a shirt if you have, joshpottermerch.com. The first batch has been starting to get sent out, so hopefully we'll get another batch going here. So do buy one. Again, joshpottermerch.com, and we will see you next Wednesday right here on The Josh Potter Show.